Hi everyone, here we are at the Future Blockchain Summit, and I have the honor of having David Orban with me, who is the CEO and founder of Actioneer, which is an AI-powered platform for coaching startups and matching investors. David, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us more about your journey into the space, because I know you have a lot of experience and leadership roles in technology, and now you're focusing on AI and blockchain and finding solutions for the startups and investors focused communities.
My background many years ago was in AI. I started as a Lisp and Prolog developer, and since then, obviously, our hardware and software platforms developed incredibly. Now we are able to deliver solutions that we could only dream about decades ago. And that is why I picked the double problem that Actioneer is attacking. How can we use AI to deliver mentorship and coaching, especially to early stage or first time entrepreneurs, regardless of where they are. They don't have to be in Silicon Valley. They don't have to have passed the selection process of accelerators or incubators that discard 90% of the applicants. Everyone deserves a high quality partnership on a platform with an AI mentor that is able to listen to them, to help them prioritize what they should be focusing on, and then hold them accountable for what they commit doing, so that the platform can actually establish whether they are able to listen, able to execute, and as a consequence are coachable. And on the other side, we, for the first time, provide a data feed to early stage investors who don't have to go with their guts, who don't have to cross their fingers and say, well, I've seen the person, I kind of trust the person, but I know nothing. I believe in the mission, and that's it. They are able to leverage the data that we provide about the fact that that team is going to be able to iterate first towards the minimum viable product, and then towards product market fit, and then really start growing so that the investor can gain their return.
That's amazing. Actually, even in my experience working with startups and investors, it's always been a challenge, and there are so many variables that you have to worry about, both as a founder when you're raising funds and as an investor when you're doing the due diligence or finding the right kind of project. And I can really see the use case where AI can actually fill in those gaps, which have been a big challenge for both sides, investors and founders when it comes to that. And how did you start about getting into this space?
Well, I started building startups very early in my 20s, both in Europe and in the US, in many different industries, from video conferencing to cybersecurity, in online video, in the Internet of Things, and at the same time I would also be investing and advising the companies that I would invest in and mentoring the founders that wanted to leverage and were able to leverage the help that I could provide. So I have a really long track record in this. I am also a mentor at the TL Fellowship, which founded by Peter Thiel, really looks at how very young entrepreneurs can thrive. And today, before Actioneer, in the company Beyond Enterprises that provides strategic advisory, I am doing this at a very high quality, but also somewhat at a high cost. $50,000 a month is kind of the minimum that we are able to engage with startups. So together with my partner, we told ourselves, AI is here. If we don't disrupt ourselves, someone else will. So why don't we do that instead? And we believe that Actioneer can multiply at least 1,000-fold the reach of this service and this support at the same quality, because we provide it rather than at $50,000, at $50 a month.
Oh, amazing. And obviously you're familiar with the pain and problems of all these founders and investors having that experience. So it's being in the best position to utilize AI now, because that's the most powerful tool that we have.
All of us, of course, should be playing with the latest AI tools. And we love seeing how ChatGPT, for example, is used in so many different ways. But ChatGPT is also a blank slate. It's just a panic-inducing, omniscient entity. But if you don't even know what are the questions that you should be asking, then you don't know how to use it. And with Actioneer, different from ChatGPT, you have a proactive platform where you are guided gently towards realizing what you should be doing, where you take a mutual commitment to make it happen together with your AI coach, and then it holds you accountable to see whether you do it and whether you can take further steps. So it is really good for someone who may have an idea, who may even have, a draft pitch deck or a draft business plan or white paper, any other document, but they know it is not complete, they know it is lacking, and the system helps highlighting what are the weaknesses, where should be improved, and then nudges you towards completing and really owning solution to those problems.
Amazing. So when obviously we cannot ignore AI, and ChatGPT sort of opened that opportunity for a lot of users to experience what the power of AI. So when it comes to AI, do you think there is obviously a lot of hype and buzz, but at the same time, there is a lot of, I think we are still in a very early stage. So where do you see we're like at the bottom of this curve or at the top of this curve? How do you see it?
Your colleagues, fellow practitioners of the art of journalism and media love hyping a technology, and then a few months later write equally sensationalistic articles about, wow, this technology that I just hyped 6 months ago, is now failing to deliver on its promise. And both the first and the second series of articles or videos are equally clickbaity and undeserving of our attention. I'm sure you don't fall into that trap.
Yes, I'm not a journalist by profession, but I totally relate to what you mean, definitely.
But we should be careful in looking at what are the trends. So AI has been brewing for 50, 60, 70 years. And there have been already waves of enthusiasm and disillusionment. And for sure, there will be people who will expect the world to be unrecognizably changed by AI tomorrow, and their expectations will be unfulfilled. But there are very good signs that the level of technology we have today is here to stay, and that building on top of a solid foundation, we will be able to create an incredible ecosystem of solutions. It is a little bit like the internet when the World Wide Web was born. The internet was born 20 years before, but before the technologies of the web became available in the early 90s, people couldn't really relate and couldn't leverage them. But at that point, it became inexcusable not to start being aware and not to start adopting web technologies. Well, a lot of people took more than 1 or 2 years, even around the year 2000 when the dot-com boom crashed.
Yes.
There were people who could say, oh, I knew the internet was only a fad.
Yes, I
And
remember.
now
being
it
there.
will disappear. Well, it didn't disappear. So it doesn't matter how many people will be taunting us, pretending that AI is just a fad. AI is here to stay, and it will deliver amazing value to those who want to take advantage of it.
I think definitely. I remember I'm from that generation as well. I was studying, doing my master's in management and information systems in 1999, 2000, and a lot of our debates and discussions were around that topic. And like you said, there were a lot of skeptics who would question the idea of online shopping, and even like those basic things that we don't even think about anymore. And definitely, AI, as you said, has been around for quite some time. But I believe for most of the viewers here and most of the people, it's a new thing. And that brings me to my next question. You have written a book called Something New.
That's right.
And I believe you like to be doing something new. Would you like to tell the audience a bit more about that book?
Well, there is this saying, there is nothing new under the sun. And it is something I don't like, because it makes you believe that change is not worth pursuing, because all your effort will be for naught and nothing will come out of it. So why not just accept the world as is? I believe the opposite. I believe that our effort can improve the world, and that seeking change in a positive direction is worth doing. And in particular, in the book Something New, I talk about how, thanks to technology and thanks to advanced artificial intelligence, we will build an age that thousands, maybe millions of years from now, people will look back and ask themselves, did they realize how special that time was? It's a little bit like we look at the Renaissance and all those artists and all those courts, and we ask ourselves, did Michelangelo or did Leonardo or did Galileo realize that we would look at them and we would ask ourselves, what a special time that must have been? Well, we are now living that kind of special time.
So that vision to be able to see into the future and perceive things that ordinary people cannot, I think is very important, as you just mentioned. And that's what the book is about, like to be able to look into that vision of building things for the future.
I hope that it is a very accessible, non-technical book.
Okay, we'll definitely read it.
So I hope that everyone can pick it up, read it, feel inspired by it, to get their hands dirty, really, right? Whether it is on your smartphone or your tablet or on your computer, you can today understand how exhilarating AI is really, and in how many things you can receive help.
Definitely.
And if you go to actioneer.ai, depending on when you are watching this video, you can sign up on the wait list, or maybe by the time we will be live, and you can start receiving the value of AI coaching in your project, whether it is your startup or maybe it is for your life.
So I was going to come back to Actioneer and the project that you founded. When it comes to investors and founders, which is, I believe, the core audience that you're looking at, or the core stakeholders that you're helping with that platform, what is it that they can expect in terms of the tangibles of how that app would help them? Let's start with investors or founders, either
Yes.
of the two.
So the first target users of the platform are the founders that are on a hard journey, often very lonely, often without the ability to correctly prioritize what they should be concentrating on. How can they rapidly iterate their idea to start listening to the market, start understanding what is the feature set that they need in order to then get to a point where people are ready to start paying, where people are ready to start talking about it virally. So this is the journey that a founder using Actioneer can expect to go through in a sure-footed manner, exactly because they are not alone. They are assisted, they are coached by their AI mentor. And then, as both the nature of the project and the qualities of the founder are mapped out by the platform, investors can look at those snapshots, not only statically but actually dynamically in time, and get excited both about the idea as well as how the idea is being executed, and then really say, yes, this is a team that deserves my attention, deserves my investment, because they have proven their ability to execute and to listen.
So does that mean Actioneer can either facilitate or possibly replace an incubation process when it comes to founders and builders?
So obviously we also walk the walk. So we are already using Actioneer to build Actioneer.
Oh, great.
And one of the things that our AI mentor tells us is not to be greedy and not to pretend that we can deliver every feature right away. So the platform at the beginning will only onboard founders, not even investors. They have to wait. And even when investors will be on the platform, it is not going to substitute the due diligence process. It is not going to intermediate the investment decision and the investment transaction. It will really focus on giving investors a new investment signal, a new ability for data-driven investment decisions. And then it will enable, of course, the investors to get in touch with those things that they feel they want to talk to. But at that moment, it will stop there. We have many years of features to keep implementing. There will be always something new that the users of the platform will find.
Amazing. So for the investors, obviously you said that you're not planning to onboard them immediately, but there will be tools and resources for investors as well. And when it comes to investors, are these going to be VCs, funds, retail, or a mix of all those?
In different jurisdictions, there are different regulations around what is allowed, but we want to keep the minimum viable product of Actioneer such that it can reach the broadest possible audience, whether they are founders or investors, in every possible jurisdiction. So it will be up to the investors to self-qualify and to say what they are interested in. Obviously, the more professional a fund is, the more likely that they have their own tools, and they may want to complement them with a new one, but it could very well be that they feel they are all set. And then it is up to us to demonstrate that they can benefit adding a new one anyway. There is, of course, the possibility, as you said, of partnering with incubators, accelerators, or data platforms that up to now have been using data from startup at later stages, and now they can introduce early stage startup data as well. So the possibilities are really endless.
Very interesting. And are you focused on a specific sector, tech, or it is like cross sector?
Yeah. So the product itself is sector agnostic. We expect that tech by its nature will be more hungry and more eager in adopting the tool, and the other side, tech investors as well. I don't expect that founders of, I don't know, new restaurant chains or franchise models would use Actioneer at a higher degree or at a higher proportion than tech founders and tech investors. But I am open to be wrong and to change my mind, exactly because it would be paradoxical if we wouldn't listen to the market, if we wouldn't be able to implement those signals that we want Actioneer itself to make available. We are coachable and we are ready to iterate and to move in the direction that the market really shows us that the product.
Thank you very much. So for the users that want to know more about Actioneer, the best way to do that is go to actioneer.ai.
Actioneer.ai is the website.
That is actioneer.ai.
Like pioneer, but not only exploring, actually doing.
Actioneer.
That is why Actioneer, and you all want to be Actioneers.
Definitely. And your motto is?
What is the question that I should be asking? I hope we did ask some interesting questions today.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. So it's a pleasure having you here on our channel. And for the users, if you want to know more about the founders and the investors and the other key stakeholders that we're working with, please follow us on our socials and make sure to check out actioneer.ie and their roadmap and the exciting things that they'll be bringing in the coming months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.